just wanted to stop in and share some tips on some positive psychology that we can apply in the fire service, in the emergency services, matter of fact. My name is Earl Strausbaugh. I'm a retired fire captain and spent 19 years on the job and served as our local union president for a number of years as well. And now I am transitioning into becoming a mental health therapist for police and fire, and working with the folks I used to work with, just in a different capacity. So anyway, I wanted to swing in and share some things about some positive psychology, some aspects that we can apply in everyday life that can help us avoid some of the pitfalls that we experience in the fire service or in any of the emergency professions, such as burnout and just dissatisfaction with the job. And then some of the more complex things like depression and anxiety, PTSD. I share all of these things, and I've experienced all of these things. I've been diagnosed with PTSD and anxiety and depression. And there are things that I can tell you we are capable of working through them. Just because it occurs doesn't mean that we're defeated. The one thing that we learn in the fire service is we adapt and overcome. We figure out how to first we respond to a problem, and then we figure out how to try to affect the best outcome possible. Try to come up with the best solution, the healthiest and most beneficial ways. So anyway, there's something I wanted to share with you. It's an acronym called PERMA, and PERMA stands for P stands for positive emotion, E stands for engagement, R stands for relationships, M stands for meaning, and A stands for accomplishment. Now, for each of these components, these are it's mostly a mindset. It's applying the things that we know to our mind that maybe can help us combat some anxiety or some depression or some burnout or some fatigue with the job. The first one, positive emotion. So we all have highs and lows in life, right? Like, I just wrote something down the other day, and I wrote, "I am here." And what that means is that sometimes we forget where we're at, like how far we've had to come to get to where we're at right now. So, for example, when I left the fire service, that was very, very difficult for me. That was really hard. And unfortunately, I spent a bunch of time kind of dwelling on that loss, dwelling on what I didn't have anymore, instead of focusing on what I did have, which was I'd found a sense of peace, a sense of new direction. This working on this master's degree is a whole new direction. But if I get caught up in thinking about all of the things that I don't have, I forget to remember to look around and say, like, wow, I have things pretty well. I have a loving family. I have a wonderful garden. I have time to go fishing. I have time to be outdoors. And if I forget about those things, I can absolutely get stuck in places that are just defeatful to our mindset, to our mind, to our thought process. And so it's important that we combat these things, and we can do that by just positive emotion. Just say, hey, I'm here. I made it to here. I made it to the place that maybe I didn't think I was going to get to, or I made it to the place that I was hoping to get to, or maybe it's just like, man, that was rough, but I got through it, and I'm here. I'm here. Look around, admire and appreciate the things that we have around us, because there's a lot. There's always a lot to be thankful for. Of course, it's easier to get caught up in the negative. Human beings are we're somewhat hardwired to do that. Maybe using using a bit more of our survival brain, we tend to focus on the things that can hurt us. Whereas we have this higher brain too, where we can actually critically think and analyze and consider, wow, I don't have to dwell on the dangers in life, because they're not as dangerous as I actually am making them out to be. In fact, those are maybe potential catalysts to grow me some more. So anyway, positive emotion. I'm here. Be thankful for here. The next one, E, is engagement. Engagement, excuse me. To me, engagement, like that's more of like being in the right now, being in the whatever I'm experiencing. If I take my kids to the fair, for example, like I'm there. I'm at the fair with my kids. I'm not worrying about work. I'm not worrying about getting assignments done. I'm not worrying about clients. I want to be worried about nothing and instead be completely engaged, completely immersed in whatever it is that I'm experiencing. There's this great story I used to tell to some folks, and it involves football, one of my other passions. So a number of years ago, the Seattle Seahawks, that's my favorite team, they were in their second Super Bowl in 2 years, and they were down on the 1 yard line. And although it's infamous now in what should have been called a run play to Marshawn Lynch, it wasn't. It was called something different. So, but back up, prior to that play even being called, the coach, Pete Carroll, called the quarterback, Russell Wilson, over to the sideline. And they were about to win their second Super Bowl, maybe. And but Coach Carroll stopped Russ, and he goes, "Hey, stop. Look around. Look at this moment. Be in this moment right here, right now. We're on the verge of maybe winning another Super Bowl, but like, let's just be in this moment for a few seconds. Let's just be right here, right now." So he was. They didn't win the Super Bowl, and that sucks. But it's still it's a great illustration of a story that shows us what engagement means. When we're in the right now, we can actually manifest, like we can flood our body with neurotransmitters that are good and healthy for us. And those things are great because they combat depression, they combat anxiety. So engagement, be here right now. The next one, R, relationship. Working in the emergency professions, particularly in the fire service, relationships, was fundamental to everything. I mean, I had a crew, I had a station, we had, it was all teamwork, whether it be from making dinners together, cleaning the station together, laughing, crying, bleeding, almost dying, all of the things. We did all of those things together. So relationships are inherent within the fire service. And I think if you're on the job, like, embrace those things, embrace the relationships that you do have, particularly in those work environments where where you rely on each other, where you depend on each other, and you're living a third of your lives together. At least I was. So, relationships, important. If like me, for example, I had a really hard time leaving when I left the fire service. I lost all those relationships to a large degree, and replicating that has been very difficult. But it's not unattainable. It just takes a little bit more work. So for me, I like to engage with other fire friends and firefighter and police officer friends that I have, and we go out and do things like fish and hunt and those types of activities, and that's really important for me. That camaraderie, that bonding. My jiu-jitsu gym is another area where that works really well. Okay, relationships. Those are important. So we've talked about positive emotion, engagement, relationships, and the fourth one, M, stands for meaning. Why am I here? Man, what a complicated question. Or is it? It's not really that complicated. I like to think of that question, why are we here? Almost like we're observing a movie, like our life is a movie, and we're like we chose to be here and watch this movie. We're here participating in this movie. What are we going to do to make this the best movie? Like, right? Like the what's the grand ultimate objective of this movie that we're all waiting for, that we're all like, oh, it's coming, we just gotta, buy a little bit more time or put in a little bit more effort. I apply a lot of what I have in my life, my spirituality, my notion of what it is to be a father, or a partner to my partner, or even a former leader in the fire service, or what's coming, working as a therapist. Like those elements of my life all give me profound meaning, and remembering why we're here, what our meaning is really important. And if we lose track of that, then sure, we're gonna get anxious, we're gonna get depressed. We're like, what am I even doing? Why am I here? I'm not accomplishing the things that I wanted to accomplish. Well, tell your story. Be your movie. Live your movie. And embrace the highs and the lows and the emotions of all of the things that come in watching a movie. Our favorite movies, you're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, you're gonna be angry, and then you're gonna feel great because there's some victory that was achieved. Like, find the meaning in your life. And for me, like I said, a lot of it comes from spirituality and my position as a father. Like, we're growing the next generation of the world. That by itself is, in my opinion, the most profound meaning. And lastly, accomplishment. We all need to accomplish things, right? Like, it's good to feel a sense of accomplishment. There is a speech that I remember. I think it was Admiral McRaven. He's a former Navy SEAL commander. He spoke about, just accomplishment, and how that can start so simply in the morning. We wake up, the first thing we do, say for example, we wake up and the first thing we do is we make our bed. Seems pretty trivial, right? But it's not. It's an accomplishment. Like, we did something. We accomplished something. We took something that was a little bit messy and we made it better. We made it clean. We made it tolerable. We made it okay. And then, okay, a little bit of accomplishment there. And then the next thing we do is maybe we walk out into the kitchen after making our bed and we unload the dishwasher. Like, good, second accomplishment. Now we're starting to feel good about ourselves. Like, we're accomplishing things throughout the day. We build on the accomplishments. We look for those things too, right? Like, I could look at my time in the fire service, like, well, I could view that as a failure because I'm not still there, or I could say, like, man, you accomplished a lot on the job, and I did. And on top of that, all of the things that I accomplished on the job have led me to a place where I'm here now, and I'm able to accomplish new things, more things, other challenging things. Like, our accomplishments are occurring all the time. We can be intentional about them and doing them, but we also need to be intentional about recognizing them. So that's my quick little spiel on the PERMA acronym. If you ever, if you're feeling down about yourself, just remember PERMA. Remember, Earl told you PERMA. and then go from there. See what you can do. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.